So I'm ready to talk about this bitter word. The word bitter. Let's talk about it. One of the things that child-free or single women get accused of is being bitter. They accuse us of being bitter all the time. And I have to remind people that I personally am not bitter because I don't have any reason to be bitter. Because for the most part, the bigger picture for me is that I never got. So there is really no reason for me to be bitter. Like when I tell people to explain to me how I'm bitter, no human can ever answer that question. They just look at me like I'm crazy. They look at me and assume that I want what every other woman wants, or that I want to follow the status quo in life like everybody else. They think that, they have these ideas about women and what women are supposed to do with their lives, what we're supposed to want. And if you're not living in that and walking in that, then you must be bitter. And I'm just like, I never wanted any of those things. And that's why I never allowed myself to get got. And I'm just using that as an example. So you will have to explain to me how it's possible for me to be bitter when I haven't been through anything that would make me bitter, right? Or I'm not saying I haven't been through stuff, because I've been through a lot of stuff, but none of those things like ruined my life. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, let's say for the sake of argument that myself, other single women, child-free women, let's say we are bitter. Let's say, you know what, you're correct. I'm very bitter. I actually think that you have the right to be bitter. Women in particular have the right to be bitter. Men even have the right to be bitter. Because imagine living your life from the time you came out the womb and all the way up until now as an adult, you realize that you have literally been lied to about just about everything, especially when it comes to relationships, dealing with people, career choices. We've been lied to like a MFer, right? And you have to deprogram your mind and reprogram it with what the truth is, or the new reality, if you want to call it that. So little girls in particular have been lied to about men and their nature. Romantic love is a scam. Marriage is a scam. Motherhood for a lot of women, not all women, but for a lot of women, turned out to be a scam. There's a lot of things that turned out to be a trap, and many people found themselves in that trap. Many women in particular. So if a woman is bitter because she was told lies like the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, or you have to carry yourself this way in order to get a husband, or you have to be this way, or you're going to want to be a mother one day, your maternal instincts are going to kick in, you're going to get baby fever, you have to be a wife one day, you have to do this, you have to do that, and you fell into that trap only to find out that you got. Okay? You have every right to be bitter. Bitter would be a very natural emotion, if you would want to call bitter an emotion, right? It would be a very natural response to being lied to for your whole life. Okay? Same thing with education. If you went to college for something, because at that time it was all over the news, it was all on these infomercials and commercials telling you this is the new it career, this right here, this is going to give you financial freedom, you're going to be able to have a good living off this, you're going to be able to do that. You get into the career, you get your degree, only to find out that industry no longer exists, or it's not the same anymore, or they stopped paying people good money, or they went out of business, or whatever. You would have every right to be bitter. So I don't think bitter should be used as a negative connotation anymore. Like if you've been lied to and deceived for whatever reason, you have every right to be bitter. Do I think you should live in your bitterness and stay in your bitterness forever? No. You have to come out of it. But it's just like going through the 5 stages of grief, right? It's no different. If someone dies, or if you lose something that was important to you, or whatever, something happens bad, you're going to go through the 5 stages of grief. Not everyone isn't going to go through those 5 stages in order either, right? But eventually you're going to work your way through all 5 stages. It's the same thing to me. being bitter should not be seen as a bad thing. It should be seen as, yes, I feel bitter about this. I'm working on myself. I'm going to go to therapy. I'm going to read some self-help books. I'm going to, join a support group or whatever to get through it. But right now I'm living in my bitterness, and I have every right to do that. So when people call me bitter in general, I don't get offended by it. I know that when they say that, they're trying to offend me, but it doesn't work because, like I said, I don't have any reason to be bitter. But even if I did, it's acceptable. It's normal to feel bitter when people have been lying to you about something your whole life. When you find out that your husband hasn't been faithful to you, he's been cheating, or your baby, you found out that your son really isn't your son because your wife or girlfriend lied to you and said you were the father. You have every right to be bitter in that moment. I would just say, don't stay in your bitterness. That's all I got to say about it. We're going to have a whole lot of shit to be bitter about with the T-Man in the White House. I'm just using him as an example, right? And we got President Elon Musk running the country, right? A lot of people are bitter about that. I'm just saying, right? A lot of people got. A lot of people they were lied to and they got swindled. You have every right to be bitter about that. I'm not talking about the MAGA people. I'm talking about the blues. Those of us who didn't vote for that, we have the right to be bitter about it because we didn't vote for that. We saw what was coming and we tried to warn everybody else not to fall for the lies and the games, right? And I'm just using that as one example. It's okay to be bitter, right? It's just not okay to stay in it. Be bitter, go through your bitter season, and then find a way to come out of it. And that's all I have to say about that. I'll catch y'all in my next video.
Do you have your passport? Did you get your shots? Girl, would you like to come back with Rob to America? America. Do you have your passport? Did you get your shots? Girl, would you like to come back with Rob to America? America. America. Beautiful. Do you have your passport? Did you get your shots? Who wants to come back with us to America?
All together, girls. 1, 2, 3. Fuck these men on the internet. They don't know what they want, but they will see what they can get. Oh, go and waste your one and only precious life while pretending not to have a full receding hairline. So keep your eyes on his hairline and your hand on your drink. For all you know, he is a psychopath. He'll leave you on red and he won't care if you're dead. And the psychics on TikTok are